Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 117. Let's just jump into it with week in review. It's been another crazy week. We're trying our hardest to get caught up, and I think we've made some progress on that. We've been running 3 packing stations Monday, Tuesday, and today we're recording this Wednesday. You can actually probably hear them in the background because they got an early start today because there's a snowstorm starting this evening, and figured we'd shift the day earlier a little bit to let everybody get home before the snow starts. I'm worried about Friday though, because Friday we're supposed to get a decent amount of snow, and we're not sure yet if we're going to be able to open or not. Hopefully we will be able to, so we can continue catching up. We're definitely getting closer. I think the orders have slowed down a little bit since the HG Ilfrith sold out Saturday. We still have aerials in stock though, and the orders are still coming in pretty heavily. So, you know, it is what it is. We're doing everything we can to get caught up with the staffing that we have. Wednesday, the main reason we didn't run 3 packing stations was actually the order complexity, because we hit the Gaia restock orders, and a lot of those orders were much more complex. When you got 50 paints or something, there's a lot more checking, a lot more SKUs to check, and a lot more intricate packing involved than just throwing a couple kits in a box. So it takes a little bit longer to pack. It also takes longer to pick those orders, and as a result we had to shift to more pickers relative to the number of packers we had in order to kind of keep everything moving as smoothly as we could. Working out though, we're getting there. I think we're within a few days. We're only a few days behind right now. It'll be interesting to see what the weekend does, especially if we're not able to get in on Friday for the snow or whatever. I guess the one other thing, well, no, 2 other things. So the other interesting thing is I think this morning we're about out of stickers. Sometime today we'll probably run out entirely. The next batch of stickers I think is about to ship to us from the sticker manufacturer. The lead time isn't super fast, so trying to catch up with this huge spike we've had the past few weeks and have enough stickers for that has been a challenge, I guess. We've got tons more on the way though, so we shouldn't run out once they come in. But it is what it is, I guess. And then finally, we're running 2 special promotions this weekend. We've got a smaller restock than normal. We haven't done any sales in a few weeks. So one of the promotions, Bandai sent us these pins. They're kind of cool. There's 4 of them. Each one has some box art. So there's an Epion pin. I don't know how well that will, probably the better angle. So we got the Epion. We've got the HG Moon Gundam. We've got an MG Barbatos. And we have the high-grade Penelope. So pretty cool box art pins. We're going to mix them in orders placed basically once this thing is live. Friday morning, probably around 10 a.m., 9 something a.m. to coincide with the restock. We'll make the announcement on the Discord right before they become valid. But if you're seeing this, they should be valid now. It'll be while supplies last, and they're going to be random for orders placed over $50. So if your order was $50 or more, before shipping and after any discounts, you'll get one of these until we run out. Randomly mix in your order. In addition, we're also going to be running a clearance sale. We got a collection of items that have been slow movers or non-movers for us. They just haven't moved the way we expected them to when they came in, and we're trying to make space. It's going to be a really deep discount. I think 25 or 30%. I haven't decided yet, but you'll see it when it gets added to your cart, and we'll put the discount code down here at the bottom. I haven't figured out what that is yet either, but we'll definitely have that. So next up, let's do pre-orders. Okay, pre-orders. So this week we got 3 new pre-orders added to the site. The first was the Bandai logo display Gundam, the Witch from Mercury. So it's the Witch from Mercury logo. One of the acrylic displays. We've got a lot of those displays for other series and some of the factions of the various series. So if you're big into Witch from Mercury, it might be a cool little display piece to put next to your built kits. So we got those. We also got 2 girl kits, the Arcanadia Yukumo and the Plamax Guilty Princess Maydroid Kuon. Don't know much about them, but we have those as well, up and available if that's the kind of thing that you're into. So that's it for pre-orders. Let's move on to restocks. All right, restocks. So most of the kits, a lot of girl type kits and stuff from Kodo, Plum, things like that. Some interesting options this week. We got this Chitoserium Urania. Got kind of an interesting aesthetic with this kind of cage-like thing. I think this is from some sort of anime or story or something. This box got dinged, so I'll have to pull that aside later. So from Eastern Model, we got this ATK Girl Merry Christmas set. I don't think there's any art on the thing here, so maybe we'll have to grab some images and put them up here somewhere. But I think it's basically parts and costuming, essentially, for a kit with Santa-type themes. You can tell how far back the supply chain backlog is that this is coming in January. I think it was supposed to be in like November or something like that. Would have made a little bit more sense. Also from Eastern Model, got the ATK Girl. This is the, which one is it? I think it's like the Imperial Guard. We also have the other kit as well. Is that on here? I guess that's, you can see kind of the two together. We got the other one in, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or a month back or something like that. I think we still have that one in stock as well. So kind of an interesting kit there. From Kotobukiya, we got 4 kits in this week. The Arzia, this is just a model kit, I guess. So Arzia girl gun, you know, what more do you need, I guess. We got the Velretta, so another one of these kits, kind of an interesting bat kind of aesthetic. And then we got 2 Mega Man kits in as well from Mega Man, what series was it? Battle Network. So we got the Mega Man and Dark Mega Man in this week as well. From Plum, we got a few kits in. Just slide these out of the way. Got 4 kits in from Plum. First up, the Vic Viper version Gradius V 2P color, so second player color. I think this is from a game. Kind of interesting little space jet thing. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. I kind of want to build one. Got a few other robot kits from Plum. We got this Pla Act 07 Sanada Masayuki version, so kind of a samurai aesthetic. Got the spear, samurai armor kind of vibes on the robot. And we also got this Arthur Shadow Knight from Plum as well. Kind of a similar, proportions are almost seem slightly SD-ish, a little bit chunky, but pretty cool looking too. And then finally from Plum, we got these, I don't know, they're trusses, I guess. Kind of a set of these trusses that you can use to build and create nearly anything. I could picture a concert stage with all the lights and all that kind of stuff, but I could also see using this to build all sorts of hangers and the like. We also got some new items from God Hand In. Got the magnifying head loop. So I don't know if the picture really shows it super well there. Here we go, that's a better picture. So it's basically a head-mounted magnifier. Those of you with eyesight that maybe isn't what it used to be might be helpful, or for doing really fine detail work and not having to hold it underneath some sort of magnifier. The other big one from God Hand is this hobby working box. So I think this is perfect for those of you who might have problems with snipping pieces and having them go flying and things like that. Kind of gives you a way to bring your hands into this box. I think it has a magnifier built in as well. It might also be a good way to keep dust and other things contained and not have it get everywhere. God Hand also sent us this time around a new drill. I believe it's a kind of a chuckless drill. It to me works much like the typical screw gun does these days, where you can just put the piece in. I think it's magnetic based, so quick change for drill bits. So if you've hated using the chuck on your pin vise, this might be a good option. And they also have a special pack. It's like a variety pack of sanding sponges, thicknesses, types, grits, and might not be a bad idea if you're considering using God Hand and want to kind of give it a try and use a huge variety of options. Looks like there's 33 different options in here, and might be a good way to figure out what you need rather than buying the full packs of each set. And I think that's what we got for Restocks this week. So that was it for Restocks. Let's do Q&A. So this is the part of the video where I answer questions from you, the viewers. You can post your comments down below, and I will do my best to answer them next time. First up, No Name. Seems like Mecca Warehouse's product offerings have expanded significantly within the past couple of years. How has that affected your team's ability to maintain inventory, specifically regarding not having too much and also not running out? It's been a challenge. I mean, a lot of it's been the growth, not necessarily the number of products that we're carrying, although that certainly adds more work and makes the problem more challenging. A lot of it's just been the rapid growth. A few years ago, the business was running out of my house and we were doing, a few dozen orders here and there, and now we're doing packing hundreds of orders a day, and it's obviously a big shift between those, and so trying to estimate demand now and in the future has been difficult. We've gone through phases where it was hard to get stuff. Things would come in that sell out super fast, and everything would go like the instant it showed up in stock. And then we're going through phases like we are now, where we're finally moving into this phase of the business where we're getting enough stuff to keep it in stock for a prolonged period of time. But because we couldn't predict easily how much exactly we needed, because it would sell out so fast, and the changing market and business dynamics of how all this stuff is going, we're kind of gone the other way on some items where we have enough for a very long time, and some for just enough time, and it's just been a challenge. We do a lot of research on sales rates when we see something sell. Usually there are patterns that we can see. Kate's kind of the master of that right now, or at least becoming the master of it. She's seeing patterns with certain products that sell different seasonally and trying to guess what we need to have those products during a certain season. A lot of tools and paints, for example, have seasonality to them. A lot of kits don't, although certain ones do, maybe because they're better gifts, for example. So it's affected it a lot. We've been trying our best to figure out how to be more accurate with that stuff, because obviously the more accurate we are, having the product that would sell now and not running out of it is good for the business, and having product that we can't sell right now or can't sell fast enough to get out the door and make room and free up the cash for the next thing is obviously a problem. So it's been a challenge. Okay, next up, Chris Ocasio. Do you guys ship to Puerto Rico? We do. We ship to any U.S. address. So Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii count, obviously. Guam, I think there's some other territories and islands that count as well. As long as like the post office will ship there and ship there as a U.S. address, we can and will ship there. Great question. Okay, Plastic Crack. Happy New Year, by the way. Would you recommend Flame Toys kits to beginners who might not be familiar with Gundams, or will you actually recommend 30-minute missions instead? Also, will there be any MGEX kits available, such as the Unicorn and the Strike Freedom at the site? So I'll answer that last part first. Strike Freedom should hopefully be here relatively soon. I don't have a hard ETA, but I think they're going to be showing up in the near-ish future. It all depends on the supply chain, moving item A to location B, all that kind of stuff. As far as recommendations, so Flame Toys, they make some good kits. I've built the Flame Toys Optimus that's sitting in the display case in my office. I really enjoyed the kit. I'd say it's probably closer to a master grade in terms of size and complexity rather than like a high grade, so it's not necessarily the best for beginners. The kit I built had a few fitment issues. Some of the joints were a little tight. There was some cracking, and it could have gotten a lot worse if I wasn't relatively well practiced at building kits and was able to recognize those issues early. So I probably wouldn't recommend them. 30-minute missions is great for beginners, as are most high grades. Entry grades are great. There's a lot of stuff. You basically can't go wrong with anything that's out there, especially Bandai stuff and the newer stuff from Bandai. Great question. Okay, next up, Depeche. Question: what would you recommend? What would be your recommendation for a complete newbie coming into the hobby? A friend just picked up his first kit, and the only thing I could think of was finish your kit before you buy another one. He didn't listen. Thanks, Nick. It's a great question. My biggest recommendation to a complete newbie is to not worry too much about the outcome. Buy kits that are inexpensive, that you're not worried about screwing up when you start, and try things and try to enjoy the hobby beyond just snapping kits together. There's nothing wrong with snapping kits together and making that all you do in the hobby. Gunpla is freedom after all. You can enjoy it however you want, but I think there's so much more opportunity to gain stuff from the hobby beyond just snapping kits together, customizing, painting, all that kind of stuff. There's so many options out there. Try not to be afraid to at least dip your toes in and try a few different things before you figure out what you really want to do in it. But welcome to your friend to the hobby. It's a great thing. Okay, plastic germs question. What is the second most asked question you get? Knowing the first being, what is your favorite MS? Fun question. If you could pick up another sport, what would it be? So what is the second most asked question? I don't have stats on this. It'd be really interesting. We should keep stats on this. I get asked all the time, what's my favorite mobile suit? What's my favorite series? Those are probably the two most popular questions that we get asked, or I get asked. The other most popular question would probably be, when is item X coming in stock, or are you going to restock item Y? What are those kind of questions? So I couldn't tell you which one's second most, third most, first most, but those are all definitely the top. So it's got to be one of those probably. And then if you could pick up another sport, what would it be? That's an interesting question. So I don't do many sports. I guess karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu could be considered sports. I guess a sport jiu-jitsu, a sport karate, so they kind of count. I'm not into any of the traditional sports. I don't, play basketball as a kid. Don't really care for it now. It's not something I want to spend my time on, or any of the other sports. Martial arts wise, my secret fantasy would be to spend some time studying Aikido. It's super impractical for anything. We can't carry swords around and draw them and cut people down or any of that kind of stuff, but it's like an aesthetic, almost meditative practice. It might be something I might get into if I ever find time as I get older, because I don't think it's going to be as impactful on my body as some of the other ones. I'd love to study judo too, but I definitely don't have time for that, and I feel like mid to late 30s is a rough time to start judo. Okay, I think there's one more question. Chip Z582, do you think Bandai will continue to use the semi-inner frame design we have been seeing in the HG Witch for Mercury kits? I'm not sure. Predicting what they do is really hard. It seems like different lines will do different things. I'm sure the Witch for Mercury kits will probably stay similar in construction, so we'll definitely see that. Whether it comes to HGUC or any new future lines is, an open question. But oftentimes when they innovate on something, they will try to incorporate it at least partially into other things in the future. So I'm hopeful that maybe they will. I'd love to see the newer manual designs where they tell you which runners you need for each block of steps in future kits as well. That's super helpful, and is one of the things I've really enjoyed building my first Witch for Mercury kit. All right, so I think that's it for questions. So if you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.